Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Border Battle Show. The dream is still alive if you're a Jets fan, thanks to Greg Williams, the savior of New York. The Jets were very close to losing their number one pick in the NFL draft, almost winning a game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders were down by 4 with 15 seconds left, and we're trying to bomb it into the end zone for the touchdown. So, what does Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of the New York Jets, do? He calls an all-out blitz, cover zero defense. There's no one out there. And, of course, Derek Carr bombs it to a receiver. Touchdown. Tank for Trevor is still on. The Jets get to ruin another QB. Welcome to the week that was.
Even if Greg Williams had done a field goal block, he'd have had at least one guy back there, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, how?
It was such a bad play call. And, of course, he was fired immediately after. So he sacrificed, Jets fans, he sacrificed his career so that you could get Trevor Lawrence and then ruin him.
The second coming of Mark Sanchez.
Yes, which I'm sure Jets fans are all very excited for, as that was probably that is like the grass is greener on the other side. That Mark Sanchez is the other side of the fence that they wish they had.
Yeah, like that's all.
That's sad.
It's very sad.
That's sad because that's a bad lawn.
Their quarterback history is very rough.
The grass may look green, but it actually has like probably thorns and nonsense coming up from it because you don't want
it's nasty.
Or at least
grass.
a butt fumble hiding in the bushes.
Never forget.
Let's get to the Packers, the Vikings, the meat and potatoes of this show, as it is the Border Battle show. Yeah. Packers game. We played the Eagles. Eagles are not a good football team.
Yeah, what happened? Because all I know is that, like, by the end of the game, Jalen Hurts was the starting quarterback for the Eagles.
Yeah. Turns out Carson Wentz, not good. Not good at throwing the pigskin. And Doug Peterson finally had enough late in this game. Although also it was pretty much over. You know, it was kind of just like a throw him in situation.
Mm-hmm.
Our pass rush was really getting to Carson Wentz as well, which every team gets to Carson Wentz. So it wasn't really that big of a shocker. And I think a more mobile quarterback like Jalen Hurts just works a little bit better in that sort of situation.
Right.
Because the issue with Carson Wentz, and this is there's a lot of issues with the Eagles, one of which is Doug Peterson. He's not a good coach. Carson Wentz, not a good quarterback. But, and this is the issue with him, he thinks he is. He thinks he's Patrick Mahomes. He thinks he's Aaron Rodgers. So every play, he's trying to extend the play, do the things that you see in the Aaron Rodgers highlights where he scrambles out of the pocket, avoids the pressure, throws the bomb for the touchdown and the win. Carson Wentz is not good enough to do any of that stuff. And with a bad team around him, with a bad offensive line.
Right.
Like, it's not all his fault, but him trying to do the hero ball when the rest of the team around him sucks, it just makes everything even worse.
So what made it work before? Because not too long ago, Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz worked, and it looked really good.
Yeah. It works when he has pieces around him, which he doesn't. There's just no weapons. There's no weapons. The offensive line is garbage. No one can get open. The running game isn't good enough to keep anyone, from just not blitzing him every down. Mm-hmm. And it's a horrible situation. So I like Carson Wentz. He's the you got to kind of feel for the guy.
Right.
He's the guy that's going to go down in history as the guy whose backup won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's and maybe that's honestly it. Like, I don't know. That's got to be kind of a big deal, like, psychologically.
Yeah.
But also he just lost all of his talent.
Right. I mean, he did get injured. Because, like, that's all I ever think about with Carson Wentz is he had that season. Everyone's talking about, hey, this guy could be the MVP.
That was his rookie season also.
He was
coming in completely unscouted. Like, obviously scouted, but they don't know what you're going to be doing on an NFL level.
Right.
Like, he's just at a point in his career where I think he'll start again and probably be relatively successful. I don't think it will probably be for the Eagles. You got to get him in a new system. Give him a break. Just keep him off the field. Let him reset. Because his mechanics were even starting to get bad. And that's where it's like, this is just becoming, I think, a head case. And it kind of sucks to see. But the game, it was what it was. The Eagles showed up to play a little bit in the fourth quarter at least. Made the score seem closer than it was. Packers dominated this game. But Eagles started out dominating ball control in the first quarter. Packers only had 4 offensive snaps.
Wow.
In the first quarter. Eagles had a big long drive, kicked a field goal. Eagles had another big long drive, got in field goal range. Then Carson Wentz did the Carson Wentz stuff,
right.
Got sacked twice, got backed up. They only scored 3 points in the first quarter where they had the ball the whole time. That's fine. It was great for the Packers. It worked out. So then Packers get the ball second quarter. We score our first touchdown, and we get down to the goal line. And this was my favorite moment of the game out of all the moments.
All right.
Because I forget what we did on first down, but then our first down probably got us down to the goal line. I forget what play it was, but anyways, we're near the goal line. It's second. What do? We call a pass play to Devontae Adams. Doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Third down. Follow up. Another pass play to Devontae Adams. Also doesn't work. Fourth down now on the goal line. Another pass play to Devontae Adams. It was the best play calling I've ever seen ever. Because you just go for Devontae Adams.
Right.
He's that good.
Eventually it'll work. It's just one of those situations.
You can't
just get
stop,
it there eventually.
You can't stop like the 50-50 ball to Devontae Adams in the end zone enough time. Like 3 times in a row, that's going to work. And they were all like different plays. You know, it was well designed and stuff. So just like hats off to LaFleur because that type of play calling is what gets you wins in the big games. Yeah. The reason why Marquez Valdes-Scantling fumbles in overtime is because he had the ball in that situation. If Devontae Adams has the ball in that situation, that doesn't happen. Get the ball to your playmakers as much as possible in the big situations because, you know, as you can see, he can get it done.
Right.
So that was great. I really like to see that. Mercedes Lewis is slow. If you guys saw the play, you know what I'm talking about. It was just funny. It was cool to see him catch a big pass like that, but then just kind of like, oh.
Is that why the Packers never throw to tight ends?
Yeah. Mostly they're slow. Second touchdown of the game was to Tunyon, and I want to talk about Tunyon a little bit because I've talked about him a bit. I like him a lot. And he just always seems to have a knack for being wide open. Sometimes Rodgers misses him when he's wide open, and that's infuriating. But like this touchdown in this game, just wide open. Most of his touchdowns, if you watch, he's just
wide open.
Crazy open. And I don't know exactly how he does it, but he is becoming, I would say, like the number 2 option almost on this Packers team, at least in the red zone. You know, you could make the argument. At least Aaron Rodgers trusts him more. It's clear that there's a little bit of a Rodgers likes Tunyon type of deal going on there.
I think he's the number 2 option between wide receivers and tight ends, but I still feel like you're still going to look to Jones and Jamal Williams before them maybe.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
they're going to get more receptions, but when you need the first down, it's 3rd and 15. I would say Tunyon's probably your second option.
Over Lazard and Scantling for sure.
Yeah. Just because we've seen he can actually catch the ball.
Yeah.
Packers are 4th in the league in drops with 27.
And I feel like
we have the best offense in the league. Right. That's the other thing. Imagine how good this offense would be if we were actually catching the ball.
I feel like all those drops are like your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th wide receivers. They're just every time they're like, oh.
They are. So Packers at this point up 14-3. We go into half. Carson Wentz gets benched going into the fourth quarter. The game was pretty much over at that point. The Packers got another touchdown, another one to Devontae Adams. He finished the game with 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, typical Devontae Adams game. And then Carson Wentz gets pulled. He had a very rough game. He turned it over once he didn't turn it over actually, but he got sacked a lot.
Yeah.
Lot of times. And he just takes bad sacks. You know, he's trying to extend the play too long, like I said. So he gets pulled, and Jalen Hurts comes in. They score a touchdown. Jalen Hurts gets a bomb throw, and then they come back. Packers quick 3-and-out, punt return, touchdown. So made the score a little closer, but the game was never really in question. So that was the Packers game. Packers face a little bit better test when they play the Lions next week. I don't think you can gauge really too much on this game, except that the Packers looked good. This is what you want as we're going into the playoffs. Like, you can't complain about this game at all. Aaron Jones did really well. The defense got to build some confidence, kind of teeing off on a bad offensive line, bad team. And even so, there were some concerns on defense, but we don't have time to get into it too much. You got to feel good about this game. The offense looks super good, and we play more weak teams going into the playoffs. Let's coast. Let's go.
So the important question in this game: did anybody on the Eagles get 100 rushing yards?
Let me look that up. Actually, the running game never seemed to get going too much. It always seemed like the announcers that were calling the game were always like Doug Peterson. He's been saying, we got to get back to the run. Maybe this is the drive. We'll see him, get back to the run.
They should have.
And it just
did they not watch any other Packers games?
It never really happened.
Because that's the blueprint right now.
Yeah, Sanders had 10 attempts for 31 yards. Did not do well. Hurts actually was their next best carrier, 5 for 29. Oof. And then Howard had 19 yards. Like, no one was able to really get it going against the Packers. And I think we were just able to play so downhill on them that, unless you break through that first line, you're just not really going to get anything going.
Yeah. Well, that's good for you guys.
Yeah, I'm feeling great about it. Packers just pretty much
still haven't played anybody good, but it's good. I mean,
we have played good teams, but we lose to them.
That's true.
That's the thing.
That's fair.
So Vikings.
Speaking of good teams, we're in a playoff spot.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yep. Thanks to the Rams. Thanks for beating the Cardinals. Playoff spot.
That is ridiculous.
Actually, I think it's also because we beat the Packers because that gave us the tiebreaker against. Wait, what is? I don't know what our tiebreaker is. We have a tiebreaker over the Cardinals, though.
Huh. Interesting.
So, yeah, we're in a playoff spot. It's great, and now that we're in a playoff spot, we completely control our own destiny.
That is true.
We just have to win out.
Win out. Too bad you're not going to, but
we can try.
You can try. You won the game, I believe.
Technically. After everything was done,
after
we were awarded the win and the other team was awarded the loss. You wouldn't know that from watching the game.
No, not at any point, really. This game was gross.
Yeah, it looked like the classic messy game that ends in a tie.
Yeah, you could have, let's say you get rid of all the logos.
Yep.
You take the numbers off the uniforms. Mm-hmm. You take any sort of identification of which team's which off of everything.
Yep.
And you make it black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make someone watch that game.
Yep.
They would have told you both those teams were winless.
They maybe not winless, but yeah.
Winless.
Bottom of their divisions. Both of those are bottom of their division.
They'd be like, what type of dumpster bowl is this?
Yeah.
Both these teams are not that good.
That's not true. One of these teams are not that good.
The Vikings?
No, Jaguars.
Oh.
Yeah.
How? No.
How
does this happen
to
a playoff team? To a playoff team?
The Browns beat the Jaguars and it was a close game. The Packers beat the Jaguars and it was a close game.
Not this close.
Not this close, but it was a close game, all right?
Okay.
So all I'm saying is we're not bad. The Jaguars just play teams close because they have a decent defense and they play a messy style of football that keeps things close. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That said.
Yes.
This had all the makings of a game that we lose.
Yes, it did.
Like, it just felt like
it
was going to be a game we lose.
And you would have, except Mike Glennon sucks.
That's true. Yeah.
He's not good.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was just a game where it felt like even when, like, the game was firmly in the Vikings' grasp, when you were kicking the short field goal to win it, it still felt like... Oh man, they're gonna miss this field goal.
I'm like, this is gonna be Blair. This is gonna be Blair Walsh 2.0.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, because at that point Bailey had already missed a point after attempt.
Yep.
And 2 field goals, including the one at the end of the fourth quarter.
Yes. Which was a 51-yarder.
It was a 51-yarder. Yeah.
Long,
and if I remember correctly, the clock
makeable.
was running, right?
I believe so.
Like because they had to scramble on because they used their last time out, and it's 3rd and 1, and they try to pass it first. And then there's like 12 seconds left or whatever. So they have to scramble on. Yep. Or not, maybe it was a little more. But yeah, they had to scramble on and do the quick. And so the snap was fast and whatever. Like if you're going to do a 50-yard field goal, you got to give them all
time.
The time.
Yeah. The other team didn't have the decency to ice him or anything?
No.
Dang.
Yeah. That's when you should ice him, right?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I think that's been like statistically shown to actually help the kickers, right?
Icing?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it is. I think it works counter.
I've not looked at the stats on it.
Kickers are professionals. You give them more time, they should do better, right?
Right. Yeah. You would think.
That's the way I look at it.
Right. It shouldn't get into their head and be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I've
always thought icing was the weirdest.
Do you ever think a kicker like thinks, "Oh, I got to kick a field goal in 60 seconds. I'm freaking out."
Right. I mean, I don't know. It seems to work sometimes, so I don't know. It's just I don't know. I guess it's just testing. It's one of those things where it's like it's the end of the game, and you're a coach, and you're like, what can I even do? Like, it's
yeah.
You're just like timeout.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah. So then we missed that one. It goes to overtime. We win the toss.
Yeah, Jags missed a 62-yarder because they actually moved the ball a little bit, and imagine if they would have made that. That would have been the best.
That was a bit of a 60 yards. There's no way. There's no way.
He was short.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. But it would have been hilarious. It would have been very Vikings. And then the pass interception
in overtime.
Yeah.
So we started with the ball.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to remember. Did we go 3 and out? We might have gone 3 and out. I think we just went 3 and out and punted.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. And so we went 3 and out and punted, and then they get the ball back, and then you're thinking like, well, this is great. They just need to get anything. If they can get in there and get a field goal, we're boned. It's over. So then at that point, it feels terrible and everything. But then Mike Glennon decides that, you know what? If Greg Williams can force his team to lose, I can force my team to lose. Yep. So then he throws it right to Anthony Harris. Yeah. Says, you know what? Jaguars can tank too. And he gives it to the Vikings. And the Vikings says, you know what? We're still going to make this as excruciating as possible. Yeah. So we take it down. We get into the red zone. And we're slowly getting in. And it looks like, oh, maybe we'll go for the touchdown. Why not? We're in there. And Dakota Dozier, I think, is offsides or false start. One of the two.
He's bad.
Yeah.
He's really bad.
I've seen like 4 of those already.
Just like, if you ever want to laugh, go on Twitter. Just put his name in. And then just look at clips. Yeah,
it's rough.
Just like random clips. There's some plays where he like never touches anyone, and it like you just don't really see it if you're just watching.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the play just kind of happens. You're not focused on that part.
Like, ever, what?
So. And you're like, what?
Yeah. It's bad.
So then we're forced to kick it.
Yo.
Well, the best part was we had the kicking unit out the one time, and then we pull it back because it was second down, or I don't remember.
It was a second down.
Yeah, second down. We pull it, and then we're like, you know what? Let's not do it. Yeah. Like, that's got to be so bad for Dan Bailey.
So much
like,
indecision.
yeah, by the way, we don't trust you after all those mistakes. And then we're like, and then 2 plays later, hey, go out and get him.
Yep.
We need you.
You got this, buddy.
Like, that's where I'm like, oh crap, you've shattered his confidence. There's no way this, but it worked out.
Yeah.
We tripped ourselves backwards into a win. So
yeah,
win's a win.
It is a win. It's a win with a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of turnovers in this game for the Vikings. Dalvin Cook fumbled on the goal line. Just a brutal fumble. But I think it was a play. He was trying to get the defense some more confidence, right? Yeah. So he sets him up for the safety.
Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant.
Yep.
Sets his team up for the safety so now they can be confident going forward. And then they got just gashed like the next drive, but
I think there was like a prop bet out. It's like, will the Vikings get a safety this year? And he's like, oh man, Vikings haven't got a safety, and I put a lot of money on us getting a safety this year. And he just like drops it. No.
Yeah, it's just the Vikings are such a confusing team this year, because they're obviously have, if you look at their last stretch of games, they've been winning more games than they've been losing. They've gotten themselves into a playoff spot after starting the season 1-5, right? Like, you can't look at that and not be a little bit impressed with what they've done over these last, weeks. Yep. But at the same time, they haven't looked good. They don't pass the eye test. They don't look like a team that could beat any of the teams in the playoffs.
It's weird.
But they're supposed to I don't see them doing anything.
Right. So 2 things with that. One is I don't think I've seen a good Vikings win since the Packers game.
Yes.
That was the last time I felt like, oh, we won and that was a good win. Since then, we've either lost and it kind of felt like we should have won, like the Cowboys game, or we won and it's kind of like, yeah, we won, but it shouldn't have been like that. Like, it really shouldn't have been that close or anything like that. See the Panthers and Jaguars games. Who else did we play? We played someone. Oh, we beat the Lions. I guess that was a pretty good win. And then we beat the Bears. Now it's also a messy game.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, we're winning games. We just basically we have 2 games to get it. We have 2 games to get our act together because we have the Saints and the Buccaneers coming up, and that's really gonna affect the playoff picture.
Yeah. And speaking of the playoff picture, let's get right to that. NFC, let's start on that side because that's our home side.
Okay.
Vikings now in it.
Yep.
That's nuts.
So
who would have seen that happening?
We're the 7th seed.
Not me, obviously.
Hey, no, we're a good team.
We'll
keep it together. Although, it's funny. Full disclosure: had the Vikings lost that game, it would have been all gloom and doom for me. Like, because I mean, at that point,
it would have been over.
Yeah, I just don't see a path for us. But we won, and we're here. We're tied with the Cardinals, so it's us in the 7th spot, Cardinals in the 8th spot. 6th spot is the Buccaneers, who we face this week. What is it? 5th spot is Rams, correct? No, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yep. And then the top 4 are the 4 division winners: Steelers,
Packers,
we got Saints.
Yeah, Saints, Packers, Giants? Rams, Giants at the moment. So Packers are obviously competing with the Saints for the number 1 spot. Packers want that bye. Saints at 10-2 have just been winning all their games. Yeah. It's been ugly. They don't have Drew Brees. But their defense is good enough that they automatically win against the bad teams.
Yep.
Because they can't score enough points.
Yep. That
even if you have someone like Taysom Hill at quarterback, you still just win. And I don't feel like their schedule's been hard enough that it's really. I don't feel like the Saints team is all that good.
They're not the best team in the NFC.
I would agree.
Neither are the Packers, though.
I would disagree.
And I have to. This is a midseason adjustment by me because I was saying the Seahawks were the best team, but I've realized the error of my ways.
I called that one.
The best team in the NFC.
Yes.
Is, and it's not really close now that you think about it. They're well rounded, and when things are clicking, they look unbeatable. They have a young coach. The only real question mark in my mind for them consistently is their running back play, but it's by committee, and maybe that's just part of the issue. I don't know. The Los Angeles Rams, best team in the NFC.
Oh, I was going to say, Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are a great running back committee. The Rams?
The Rams. All right, so they have, 4 losses, right?
Yeah.
2 of those are to the 49ers. So clearly the 49ers just have their number. And I don't remember. They lost to the Dolphins. That was a rough loss.
Yeah, because Goff is trash.
Goff
is not – he's not what you want in the playoffs.
Goff has weeks. Yeah. He's not a playoff quarterback.
No.
And some weeks he just looks terrible.
Yeah.
But the rest of their team is so good. And I think that McVay's a good enough offensive coach to make it work around Goff.
The Rams, to me, are a type of team that gets the number 1 seed a lot of years, but does not get it done in the playoffs. They just don't have good enough quarterback play. Jared Goff's not good enough. He'll get it done against really bad defenses, because he has enough weapons around him. He has a really good system. But he's not good enough against actual opposition. I don't think the Rams are the best team. If you look at their starting lineup and just exclude quarterbacks, if we cut quarterback completely out of all those NFC teams, they obviously win. They have a very good roster.
Yep.
But quarterback is just too big of a part of football. I would want to place my money on the Aaron Rodgers, the guys like Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, obviously. The guys that we've seen them get it done before. Drew Brees, Like, there's so much good quarterback competition in the NFC. I don't see how Goff can compete.
So, ironically enough, speaking of competing, I would actually pick the Packers over the Rams in a game.
In a game?
Because the Rams aren't built to beat them. The way to beat the Packers is run the ball 38 times.
Yes.
And hopefully your running back's good enough to just blow it open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rams, I don't think they have a running back that's going to do that. Maybe they would, but I just don't see it. I think that their running back's game's weak enough where the Packers would hold on. And you don't want Jared Goff having to shoot out against Aaron Rodgers. That's not what
you're looking for.
No.
If you're the Rams.
So, yeah. I still think the Rams are the better team, but the fact that you have to play all the other better teams in the playoffs, I don't know if they'll be the best team by the end of it.
Yeah. Other things that could really swing. NFC East.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a mess.
It's a toss-up. Any team could still win it.
But I think we've started to see 2 teams rise out.
Yes.
Cowboys and Eagles are just in a bad place.
Yep.
The football team and the Giants are looking okay.
Yeah.
Giants.
Which one would you pick as of right now to win that division?
The football team.
You're going with football team?
Antonio Gibson's looked really good.
They did just beat the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers, which was crazy.
That's a good win.
How embarrassing is that, Steelers? You got beat by the team with no name. Like,
you got beat with a team with no name.
You were the top of the NFL, and you got beat by a no-name team.
And a quarterback who, 10 years ago would have been out of the league because there'd been no way to recover his legs. Did you see his leg
gushing blood?
I did not see that, no.
Oh. He got, it wasn't actually a big injury, but because of all the work he's had done on his leg, something came a little loose or something, because, man, there was a lot of blood. It was, Yeah. It was interesting.
But, yeah, football team, I also just want them to win the division, but, I think they're the better team.
Yeah. I'm rooting for them. I think the Giants have the momentum as of right now.
They got a good win, too.
Yep. They got a very good win over Seattle. I think the Giants would, if I had to bet money, I'd pick the Giants, but I'm definitely rooting for the football team.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them get it done, Obviously, I like a lot of guys on their team.
I think the real question...
They're a team with no name, no identity, but they got some feel-good stories on their team. So hey, that's enough identity, right?
Who can make more noise if they win their division in the playoffs? Giants or football team?
Giants. They have a better defense.
Yeah, I would say that I would agree with that.
Yeah, let's switch quick to the AFC.
Again.
Yeah.
1 seed is not the best team. The 1 seed right now is the Steelers at
11-1.
11-1. They've had, I won't say an easy schedule because they've played some teams, but I don't think their holes have been exposed, and it doesn't look like there's ways to fill them. And so I don't think the Steelers are the best team.
Okay.
So the best team in the AFC is either the Chiefs or the Bills.
Okay.
Right?
Chiefs right now, number 2 seed. They're also 11-1.
Yep.
Bills the 3 seed at 9-3.
And what's the last division?
Titans are 8-4, top of their division. And then the wild card teams as of right now: Browns, Dolphins, Colts, and Raiders, Ravens, and Patriots are kind of those bubble teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be. I would still say I would pick Steelers over Bills still.
Which we'll see. I mean, they play each other this week. Yeah, it'll be very clear soon.
This week. We'll find out, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a very fun game, obviously. But how could you not pick the Chiefs? The Chiefs were the best team in the entire NFL at the start of the year. They will be at the end of the year. They'll probably be next year. The Chiefs are just really good. I don't see how anyone can really compete with them outside of some anything can happen in the NFL.
They probably are.
They're the class. They're so good.
The Bills are exactly what I predict them to be, and I still think that Josh Allen can beat Patrick Mahomes on one game, and that's all he needs to do. He didn't earlier this year. He did lose to them earlier this year, but I felt like watching that game. It was a game that it wasn't as big of the game was closer than it looked, I think.
Okay.
So I think that, he can still go out there and he can win against Patrick Mahomes 1 week. And that's all he needs to do. Just needs one win. Maybe not even. But I think he'll have to face Mahomes one way or the other to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The Super Bowl path, obviously, you're going to have to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Can any of the teams in the AFC do it? Bills might be your best shot. I think they have a high-powered enough offense that they can go in there and put up a bunch of points. I don't think their defense is good, though.
Their defense is all right. The thing is, they've had their secondary was good, but I feel like they've had a lot of issues with their secondary. Like any week where Josh Norman has to get out there, it's a bad week for the Bills. You
know who you need a good secondary against? Patty Mahomes, Tyreek Hill.
It's true. Yep.
Kelsey.
Yeah.
That's going to be a rough one, but AFC, it's going down to the wire. The only team that's clinched is the Chiefs. They've clinched a playoff spot.
Yep.
I don't see a ton of movement happening here.
The Raiders can make some noise.
Yeah, they just had a really bad loss. Or almost lost to the
they didn't lose. They
ended up winning. Thanks to Greg Williams.
Yeah.
Keeping the Raiders' hopes alive. But I feel like the AFC is such a top-heavy division, in my opinion. Like, the Chiefs are so good, the Steelers are so good, the Bills are right there,
and then it just
there's Maybe the Browns.
Yeah, the interesting
the Browns
story
have a
of
really good run game, really good defense. Yeah. They're fun.
They're fun. I just don't think they're quite at that level.
Yeah,
but they're a lot better than the Browns have been in a long time.
Oh yeah,
this is the best Browns football we've seen.
Yep. Dolphins, too young.
Yeah.
They have some potential, but they're too young.
Defense,
Colts, good team, too old of a QB. That's just
Titans are a weird team because I feel like they're not quite there.
Yep.
But some weeks they just look like the best team. Some weeks they're just wow.
They have the chance to do in the playoffs what they did last year.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry might just beat you, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
So yeah, keep an eye out on that. We got to get to picks. So starting out, Vikings at Bucks. Bucks are 6.5-point favorites, but this game is for the 6th seed.
It is
in the playoff picture. So big game. You can't ask for much more than this as a Vikings fan. A win and go up a seed. Really lock yourself into this playoff picture. But it's going to be a really tough test. The Bucks have been up and down this year.
Yeah.
I would say is a fair way to describe them. They've had some really good wins. They beat the Packers big. They've beaten some good teams big, but they've also lost to some bad teams to get to their 5 losses on the season. What do you got for the game, Tim?
Let me paint this picture for you. The Vikings have to go to Tampa Bay, beat Tom Brady, beat a wide receiver trio, which against our secondary, which is incredibly weak right now. It just doesn't match up well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, our run D will probably be good enough where they'll be throwing it more. And that's just going to hurt us even more, I feel like. So it's a really tough matchup. As much as I really want us to win, this doesn't play well for us at all. We lose this game. It sucks. I've been saying it all year, but this is
you've been very consistent.
Mark that on the calendar. That's a loss. I do think we'll cover.
Okay.
So Buccaneers win, Vikings cover.
Okay. I think that's a fair assessment of what this game is going to look like. Tom Brady, he's a vet. He's gonna pick apart the defense. It's gonna be what you've seen from the Vikings defense. They're not that good. They'll hang in there. This game will be relatively close, but I think at the end of the day, the Bucs will win by about a touchdown. And I'm gonna say they cover, but it will be close. Like they will win by a touchdown. Okay. Is what I'm going with. So they cover the 6.5. Packers at Lions. Lions at home plus 7.5. I'll even just go first on this one.
All right.
Packers win. Packers covered.
The Lions are 1-0 in the post Matt Patricia era.
Yeah, you know how that trend works though.
It's just the 1 week.
It's the 1 week.
It's the 1 week.
It's always the one week. It's just the week after the coach gets fired. That's it. It's over for the Lions. Their season's done.
Yeah, I don't see the Lions winning this game. I'm really on the fence about them covering though.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, no, I'll do it.
Do it. Yeah, let's go.
I'm doubling up on the split picks. So yeah, Packers win, Lions cover. They're at home. Matt Stafford can do enough. I don't know what else they have anymore. Marvin Jones.
They don't got much. They do have Marvin Jones.
Adrian Peterson will revive his hatred for the Packers.
He had like 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, he'll revive his hatred of the Packers and go off and break a leg because he's too old and end his career. But he'll do it beating the Packers.
That'd be a good way to end your career. That's like all Adrian Peterson could ask.
See, now I flipped my script. But the Packers win. Lions cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how it works out. Tim went 2-2 last week. I am 3 games back, and we are nearing kind of the end of the season. Yep. So I got a little bit of ground to make up. I can make up some games there as we pick different.
And in case it all goes south, the Vikings were in the playoffs this week.
Yeah, you did have a spot.
Yes.
You don't even have to root for COVID anymore. The extra playoff spot. You are in now.
Thank you, Cardinals.
Packers have been here all the time.
Yeah,
since the very beginning.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
First time?
Just all I have to say is remember the Eli Manning Giants. We just have to get there, baby. We just have to get there.
Good luck getting there. Thanks for watching, guys.